Hi, my name is Gia Hamilton, and thank you for joining me for Live Your Purpose Artfully, a video series that looks at creatives and innovators who are living, working, and visiting the city of New Orleans. So I am thrilled to sit down and talk with Jazz Williams today because it was maybe about a month ago that I was able to come to the country club for brunch during the week, and I was excited. I didn't know what to expect. I had been to the country club a number of times, and you were our chef who prepared our food that day, and I have to say I was absolutely blown away. Absolutely blown away. I kind of have a bit of a girl crush on you now, and want to follow all the things that you do and taste all the things that you make. But you said something to me, or you started off the conversation just talking a little bit about your family, your influences with cooking, and where you learned to cook. And I thought that was super interesting.
Yeah, family is really, really dear to my heart.
Yeah.
So, background: my dad, he grew up in the Treme, so full French Creole blood running through me. My mom, she's from Puerto Rico, a little bit southern of the island, so it's Guayama, so south of the island. And she came out here when she was 16, went to Germany, New York, and all that. And she went to Texas and met my father, and that's when I popped up. And that's when I kind of played in the kitchen a lot when I was a little girl. My father always had restaurants and selling seafood, and I was always around food, which is my grandmother. I came out here 3 times a year, and I'm like, you know what? I was always attracted to New Orleans. There was something about it, even though I had family here. It's just my grandma smelling the red beans. I didn't really eat red beans growing up, but just growing up, and she was just like, oh, you don't eat beans. I love simple things like rice and ketchup and stuff like that. But just being in the kitchen, and over the years, my dad had restaurants and bistros, and I was too young to understand why is it always new, and he was just trying to find what made him happy. And my dad always had ideas, always had oh, I want to do this, I want to get a food truck, I want to have a bistro, and to making chocolate moo-moos were these milkshakes he used to make us.
I'm like, ooh.
And to it was half restaurant, half salon, and with his friends, and just growing up, and we had a little bistro right across the street. We moved locations, and we had little alligators in the tank, and it was just that Louisiana touch to it.
Yes.
And growing up smelling my dad making roux and yakamain, and I played in the kitchen, but I tried to stay out of my dad's way because I'm oh, he gets aggressive in the kitchen, which I know now I'm the same way, because all it is you care, you have a passion for cooking.
Yeah.
So it's don't take offense. It's just I just love cooking. It's you take it seriously, and you don't really know your true talent and your passion. Is you'll take years to master it. A lot of people you don't know everything all at once. It takes years to master your craft and make sure that you're happy, because every day I'm still learning things.
Yes.
But my dad had restaurants, and he opened a restaurant. It was behind Tremere Street, kind of by our mall in my hometown, and I grew up in small town. I grew up in Temple, Texas, so it's 40 minutes out of Austin, Texas. So I'm a small town girl, but I got a lot of personality behind me.
Yes,
so
you do.
It's fun. Everybody's like, "Where are you from? Are you from New Orleans?" I'm like, "No, from a small town in Texas." So,
yeah. But you bring
everybody's curious. I love how I keep people guessing. Where are you from? What do you mix with? So I was I'm Creole and Puerto Rican, so I got a spicy background behind me. So that's fun, and I try to put that in my cooking and keep people guessing what is this? I try to wow people to where it's just you come this time, it's going to be something different the next time. So I try to keep everybody on their toes every time they come, so it's exciting to make you want to come back and you know what do we get next time? So where it's soft shell crab or shrimp in a Caribbean yuca stew what we made for you, which that was nice.
Yeah. Okay, so talk a little bit about this, because I think we had 4 courses, and the thing that I thought about was I'm definitely going to have this woman's food. It tasted like it was cooked with love. It literally tasted like someone prepared it with care. The flavors all came together, and again, as a woman from New Orleans, but that also has Peruvian roots and is definitely loves to have like ceviche and remembers my grandmother's like cooking
This is
certain
one
things.
taste. She's like, wait, this is bringing back memories.
Right.
A little bit of like, wait, Louisiana culture, but she said she's from like Texas and like
Exactly.
it keeps you guess like, wait, where are you from? Like, what's your background? So
Yes.
But no, I like my person, like my dad. Going back to my dad, like he's Creole, grew up in Louisiana, like grew up in New Orleans all his life, and then my mom Puerto Rican, so being in the kitchen to where it was helping my dad peel shrimp and watching him make roux, and my mom making like sofrito and arroz con gandule and Spanish dishes like that, and for like Christmas.
Yes.
And my dad opened a restaurant back in 2004, right when Obama got elected president, so it was around October 4th, 2004 we opened a restaurant, and we had it for 10 years, so I started working when I was 11. And
wow.
a lot of people watched me grow, and my hometown is big military-wise, so we did a lot of catering events and just down home Louisiana cooking. We did gumbos, etouffees, you can get your fried catfish plates, and just real comfort food.
Yeah.
And I worked with my dad probably since I was 11 until I graduated high school, and I didn't know a bunch about like parties, and I wasn't attracted to like parties and football games. I did band, so music was in my life too. My dad is a big lover on music, and my sister took that side. So she's like the music side, and I'm the cooking side. So we're like yin and yang. So it's like we both took a little bit of what my dad loves.
Yeah.
And then my mom is just like her cooking with the Puerto Rican cooking. Like you'll be in your room and you smell like the sofrito sauteing. You're like, she'll always attract you out of the kitchen, like out of your room. You'll be in the middle of a game, like, Mom, what are you cooking?
Yes.
Sofrito with like chuletas and pork chops, and it's like, Ma, and you just. She attracts you with just her cooking, and it's just like, oh my God, like it's so good.
So let me ask you: Do you remember the meals that you make, and do you remember the meals that you made when I was there? If you do, will you describe it? Will you tell yes?
The one we did the oysters, the Louisiana Gulf oysters and elote. So growing up in Texas, there's a lot of Mexican blood going all around. Mexican restaurants, which was tradition, eating Mexican restaurant every Sunday with my dad and mom. After church, and we would go and get like Mexican street corn for like $2. Put the mayonnaise and the chili powder and the lemon juice on it. So I took my childhood memories and elevated it into like a Creole Latin spin. So I was like, you know what? Nobody wants to sit at the table and eat corn and just like make a mess. So I was like, you know what? Let's shuck it. Do my own special mayonnaise with like a lot of Latin flavors, stuff that my mama used growing up, like to the sazons, to the sofritos, and the adobos, and all those unique seasonings. So I took that and kind of made my own mayonnaise, made a real strong base for it, so it gives it another depth of flavor. And of course, you have fresh cotija cheese and cilantro and lime juice. So I did that, stirred that up, so that was your base. So Mexican street corn my way, and then I did fried oysters on top.
Yes.
Which was like a little different breading, your typical corn flour, but with a lot of like island spices in there, like curry powder, cumin, and cayenne pepper. And I did that, fried them, and then a little bit lime wedge, cotija cheese, and just real simple, but the corn gives you majority of the flavor, and then you eat the oyster like, it's not your typical fried oyster.
No, it was not my typical fried oyster.
A lot of people, I did that for my cousin recently. Yeah. Everybody's like, this dish sticks to me so well. Yeah. So that's my baby. I keep that. I try to keep that one on the menu and try to do that, because I used to make it for staff meal when I worked at Commander's Palace, and everybody's like, what is that corn? So a lot of people was just like, what is this? I was like, my childhood.
It's
street
childhood.
Corn. I was like, street corn. And when I used to do it over there, and I really noticed street corn becoming really popular, and people did their own spin on it, from like Nina Compton doing a jerk corn. Yeah. And everybody just did their spin on it. I'm like, you know what? My corn will work. I'm going to do my spin on it.
So, okay, and so we had other things. You mentioned the yuca stew. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we moved from oysters and Mexican street corn, your version. And then we had
the spicy lemongrass shrimp with the yuca and plantain Caribbean coconut stew.
Yes.
So my grandma always made like shrimp stews and like beef stews and stuff. You'll go over till she have like bacalaitos, and my grandma always surprised you. If it's bread and butter or bananas and Sunny D juice, she always wows you. But she made a seafood stew one time, and it was just like shrimp and plantains. It wasn't as creamy, but it was just like a brothy, and it just had those flavors. So I was like, you know what? I was like, I want to do something summery, something bright, something like island spice. I love yuca because it's so like airy. It's like like a Caribbean potato, but it's just amazing. I love it. And then plantains, I love green plantains with mojo. So I'm like, you know what? All these flavors, you can create them and do like a stew, but lighter, something, you know, vegan optional and gluten free. And I was like, coconut milk. And I was like, you know what? I did that with a lot of habaneros and chilies and just sauteed that down. And the base of it is shrimp stock. So people like, don't put the shrimp in it, but it's just like, all right, let's make it really intense. So I do like a lemongrass shrimp stock, really intense with kaffir lime leaves, and just spice it up and add that depth of flavor with some hot rice, like Louisiana popcorn rice. I love it because it's so aromatic. It's just, I love popcorn, so it has that unique flavor. So we did that stew, Caribbean stew with your fresh yuca, plantains, and that Caribbean flavor has that spice, but it's just nice and just coconutty. Well, I love coconut.
Yeah.
So,
but it also mellows.
It mellows with your fresh cilantro and your fresh lime juice and lemon zest for that scent of like just bright flavors. And I took the popcorn rice and added like a pound of butter. People don't believe. Ask her. I put a pound of butter in my rice. I put a pound in there. It just gives you like, like I love butter. So just add like a pound of butter in that rice and just fluff it. Put that in the middle. And then I took the shrimps and just lightly fried them in cornstarch and chili powder. And then gave them like a fresh toss and like plum lemongrass. So it has that sweet, kind of tones your palate down from that hot, spicy habanero with a spicy lemongrass, crispy shrimp on top.
Oh my goodness.
And my cilantro garnish because I love cilantro.
And I noticed that like your dishes are all extremely, like they're colorful in like flavor, but they're also like beautifully presented and like just have a ton of color.
Yeah.
Like, so like, how are you thinking about that when you plate food?
I try to, when I plate food, just because it tastes good, I want to attract you just by the look of it. I want to attract you to where you look at it, and it's going to attract you to want to try it.
Yeah.
So the beauty, and I want you to explore the work side of it, and the beauty of it. So, that's really pretty. Like a lot of people can be picky, like, you know what, it's so beautiful. You know what, I want to explore it because it's beautifully attractive, and it's just, in all levels, just very beautiful. And I'm just a bright, bubbly person, so I really like bright colors and I just love just bright, beautiful food. Yeah. Just even if it's just something so simple. If I make at home, I'll take pride at work at home and buy like every color of a bell pepper and just stuff bell peppers for the holidays and just do like a rainbow assorted of bell peppers, so red, yellow, green, purples when they're in season when you get lucky. But I just really love colors. To like growing up like watching like Lisa Frank and little notepads. I love colors. My mama used to get mad at me because I doodled so much in school because I'm doodling with colors all day long. So.
I mean, you know, I think like culinary arts is definitely an art, right? And
it's definitely art.
It's definitely art, yeah. And so when you think about people, aside from your dad, who I know was like this influence, this is your base. But when you think about prominent chefs right now and people that you admire or are thinking about, who are some of those people in your life?
Always been my favorite since I eat a lot of restaurants, especially out here. Of course, I feel like the city doesn't have enough Latin food, and I was just like, one day I was like, I'm gonna stay humble and stay focused. I was like, I know I can put Latin food on the map out here. Of course, Caribbean out here is a lot. I like what Nina Compton's doing right now with the Caribbean flavors and elevating it. I love her.
And for people who don't know, Nina Compton is the executive chef
at Compare La Pen.
Yes.
And she just recently opened the Bywater Bistro.
Yeah.
But probably one of my top chefs right now, Jose Enrique in Puerto Rico. He constantly changes his menu, and you'll see it on his menu when you walk in. Simple things like a dry erase board, and they'll change it. Once it runs out, if they got like fresh snapper in the back, he changes it and puts another dish. But he's taking that that comfort, like that comfort home food from Puerto Rico to like picadillo to little things, and he's just elevating it and, you know, putting his own touch on it. And he travels, and it's just like good Puerto Rican food, that street food you'll find, but he's elevating it into his restaurant. So he's a big impact on me. And of course my father and my mother. Those are like my big, those are like
your people.
It's simple things like cooking a family meal, but I look at them as my chefs in my eyes, and especially my daddy. Like, my daddy's like my heart, and my mom's my heart. Yeah. And I just love everything about him, and I always try to never get sidetracked. It's just like, why am I doing this? I didn't leave school. I didn't leave college to like waste my time. I was like, you know what? I like to be hands-on. I'm like, I've been around my dad all my life and being like cooking. So I'm like, you know what, I want to go to culinary school. So I ended up leaving at 18 after I did a little bit of college in Texas. I did college in Texas, and I was like, you know what? I want to go to culinary school.
Yes.
So I packed my bags, and I went to Austin. I went to Le Cordon Bleu in Austin for a year and a half for the 21-month program. And we had an externship, and I was like, you know what? I want to go to New Orleans. My dad was like, why New Orleans? So I was like, you know what? I've always been attracted to it. I was like, it's something about that city that I feel like it's going to put me where I need to be and learn. And I was like, I just want to go learn the other side. It's more to this culinary life than people think it is. Like, oh, to your basics. No, it's more to even if, you know, making mayonnaise or whatever it is, it's always something to be learned in this culinary world. And every day, somebody's creating something new every day. So I took my bags and I moved to New Orleans when I was 18. Well, June 5th, I moved out here. Went to Commander's Palace June 7th. And I did a stage, came back and forth from Austin. June 9th, I went to Commanders, and I got the job, and I started June 11th. And I was there, and I became one of the youngest sous chefs there, and the second woman sous chef at Commanders. So it was fun. I kept my head down. I was probably the only girl in the morning shift. Yeah. So I kept my head down. A little intimidating because I always said I don't want to do fine dining, but I didn't know anything about the. But
it's a good experience.
It's a good experience to where. It was kind of like a culinary school to where you started as a production cook from your stocks to your soups, your sauces, your knife work. Yeah. And then you excel and you go into the pastry room and you do to your desserts, your pie crusts, your ice creams, a lot of basics. And then you move to your cold garde manger, hot appetizers, cold appetizers to hors d'oeuvres. And then you move on to the hotline. And it's just every time it's like you graduate until a new level every time.
So you've been learning on the job. And
you were learning on the job from culinary school, and it allowed me to put my knowledge from culinary school to the test. Like, do you know how to make hollandaise? So I was like, I made it in culinary school. So it was cool. It was like, oh my God, it's like a real life test to see that. Do you really want to do culinary? Is this really what you want to do? And I kept my head down and just went to work. And
clearly this is what you want to do because now you are a sous chef at the Country Club. Mm-hmm. Yes.
I've been there a year and a half now. I started January 11th.
Yes. And okay, so I know I was there during brunch, and I know you handle a lot of times brunch and lunch. Okay, so tell me what I've missed. What types of stuff haven't I had?
Well, it's constantly changing, and really, I try. Okay, we have the menu, but I try to let people if some people come in, they don't offer breakfast for lunch. Yeah. What do you want? I'm gonna pick your brain. A woman came in. She was like, I want an egg sardu. I'm like, I can make you egg sardu. I never try to turn a customer down. I always try to wow people. I will always go out of my way for people because if I have it, I'm gonna make it happen. That's just in my blood. Making it happen, not making excuses. Get customers come, for memories. You don't know if it's their mother's last meal or mom's anniversary. You never know. So you always want to treat your guests with all levels of respect and take care of them, make them happy. Leave that memory in their head like, wow, that chef went out of their way to make me egg sardu, or simple things like grits and shrimp and grits, like whatever it is.
Yes.
Like, y'all don't have shrimp and grits. I have grits in the back. I can make you something similar to a shrimp and grit. But it's, I try to let my lunch menu be more bright because the Country Club is really bright. It's fun to where it's the pool, the bar, and how they remodeled everything. It's just like, it's like a hidden gem to where you go there, it feels like you're escaping the whole city. It's like, oh my God, you would think you're like in the back of a pool area in like Florida somewhere or Miami or wherever. So the menu, I try to reflect it as bright flavors like the Latin Caribbean. I try to fuse Caribbean, Latin, and Creole food, but my spin on it, and try to offer still what people want to your, you still get your hamburgers and stuff, but still offer like little things to where I have fresh yellowtail snapper, so that southern spin on sweet potato, mashed potatoes. Yes. But take like an avocado salad and toss it in fresh mojo, which is like a garlic oil we eat in Puerto Rico with our tostones.
Yeah.
So elevate that and do like that Southern Caribbean and Spanish touch to it. So I try to wow everybody every time. So
I'm sure that this is what you are doing. So, okay, you are fairly young. Mm-hmm.
Just turned 26.
Yeah. Just turned 26. You are getting a ton of experience in like one of the culinary cities in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where people literally come to this city to eat
and gain like 10 pounds.
Exactly. In like, a couple of days. If you were thinking about like your vision for the future and like what you want and what you need, what would that be?
I love this city. It's very challenging because there's restaurants opening constantly and closing constantly.
Yeah.
So I would like something really small. Like one of my little favorite restaurants is on Coran de Ley. It's called Mais Arepas. It's like a Colombian restaurant.
Yeah.
It's so small to where they offer every flavor mojito and that Colombian Spanish food. And it seats like 20 people, 25.
Yeah.
And they have like reservations in the morning, they have lunch and then dinner. Set times where you get a break, kitchen can regroup. And I used to go there by myself, sit at the bar and drink like pineapple cilantro margaritas and sit there. I'm like, this is something I really like. Small kitchen, like Spanish vibes, and just something it's just a sexy atmosphere. Yeah. And I was like, if I had something out here, I want something small, like an island getaway, but it's like really, really modern and just chic. And I offer, a small menu, and I change it every week or so, whatever is like in season, Louisiana wise, like seafood, oysters, shrimp, and whatever special like stuff I can get. I just do a Caribbean, Latin, Spanish fusion food.
So let me ask you. All right. So if someone said, I'm financing this small kitchen restaurant, do you have a name? Something that you would think about, or?
I always think about that a lot. To me and my sister always laugh. Like, we was like, oh, let's always wanted to open a restaurant like called Sazon. I know that's like a Goya like brand of seasoning, but I'm like, I love Sazon because my mama used it a lot, but it was always like that unique seasoning. And I was like, I know I take myself as very unique with the flavors and like just everything I use and to the things I offer in the kitchen. It's just like, you know what, Sazon is called like a unique seasoning. And I'm like, that would, but there's a restaurant in New York called Sazon. But I'm like, you know what, Louisiana doesn't have it, so
exactly.
I was like Sazon, or something. I would have to think hard about it, like with my family, and then probably my middle name like Damaris, and I'm like, that's something that's different. So I'm like, that would probably be a name, but just something like what is that place? Like the name would just have like just have you curious, and you like want to experience it. Like the name will be so exotic, you want to like
you want to go,
you want to experience. Like I'm curious about this place, so it'll be something definitely really different. I have like 10 names in my head, but I was like, so my middle name Damaris probably would be the name of it, because I'm like, my father and my mom came up with that name for me, so I was just like,
you want to use it in some other way. So so you know this, I think I told you, I'm a mother of 4 boys. All of whom had at some point loved to cook, but currently my 11-year-old gets in the kitchen. He is on YouTube. He is very serious. He's looking for what ingredients we have in the house. Like, if you were going to give advice to someone who's young person who's interested in cooking, what would you tell them? Like, what's something that you've learned?
If you of course, people are not just going to play in the kitchen. There's a lot of people out there that just don't like to cook, but you'll feel it in your heart. Like, you'll find joy in it. You really would love to cook, and especially if you find joy in it. If you're making like a sandwich in the kitchen or whatever it is, you wow people. Me, I'm very sensitive when it comes to cooking. Like, try this. Like, I try to tell people, like, try this. Like, stop right now. Try this. Like, give me your feedback. How do you like it? Just play around and experiment with things. And, if you find that love in your heart, you're going to feel it. You'll feel like, you know what, I love cooking.
Yeah.
And you'll have, like, my mom, like, I used to make simple things in the kitchen. I used to make egg sandwiches for my brothers and my sisters.
Yes.
And I'm like, I'll be like, why are y'all not eating? I'll have, like, a table full of egg sandwiches. And they were like, oh, you're going to make it? And I made it, and they all loved it. And I just found that joy. I'm like, you know what? When I wanted to go to culinary school, I'm like, I thought about all my childhood memories, like, playing in the kitchen or playing with the microwave or whatever it was. And I was like, I made my brothers and my sisters happy, and I got good feedbacks on simple things. And they're like, look, you should be a chef one day. You should be a cook. And just watching my dad, and, and two, you'll feel it. I don't know, you'll just feel it in your heart, like cooking. Not everybody enjoys cooking. You'll be surprised. But I think you feel it in your heart. And, if you really want to cook, you'll feel that vibe in your heart. Like, you want to master that craft, and you'll find very much joy in that craft.
Yes.
So I was just like, you know what, follow your heart.
Yes.
And I followed my heart, and I was like, you know what, I want to cook.
Yes.
So I was like, I want to be a chef, and see what this city has to offer now that the time I'm in here. And I was like, I love this city. It's such a big food city, and you can learn something every day out here. So
I would like to sincerely thank you for sitting and talking with me
you're welcome.
today.
Anytime.
And thank you for feeding me.
Anytime.
And sharing. And I
waiting
will
on you to come back.
Yes, I will be back for
Next
sure.
time will be something different every time.
I know. I'm so excited.
Yes.